continue with a welterweight contest over 8 3-minute rounds. Between and introducing first in the red corner, wearing the black trunks, he weighed in at 11 stone, 5 pounds, from Birmingham. Will you please give a nice warm welcome to Paul Wesley. And his opponent across the ring in the blue corner, wearing the blue trunks. He weighed in at 10 stone, 10¼ pounds, and enters the ring as the current British champion from Stockton, Geoff McCreesh. Your officials for this contest, your timekeepers Mr. James Russell, and the referees Mr. Terry Cole. This is 8 3-minute rounds.
Round 1.
Geoff McCreesh trying to stay busy here. The former British welterweight champion who's given up his title because he has world aspirations now, in the blue trunks here with the sometimes dangerous Paul Wesley of Birmingham, who's now 36 years of age and in his time has fought 6 world champions, beat one of them too, Paul Silky Jones, back in 1992. Also been in with Sumbu Kalambay, Chris Pyatt, Steve Collins, Crisanto Espana and Harry Simon. But McCreesh is a good operator, and here he's refusing to be dominated and comes back. McCreesh has shown himself the boss of the welterweights at domestic level and has every right really to maybe start thinking about some bigger things. Late career flourish from him at 28. Originally from Teesside, but based these days at Bracknell in Berkshire. Wearing the blue trunks, remember, McCreesh. Wesley in the twilight of his career, but he does have his moments still.
This Wesley can be capable and can, as you said, Ian, spring off a surprise, but he's just at the stage in his career where really he tends to try here and there, and when it gets too hard, you know, he just ducks down that level.
He works in the car body repair business, Paul Wesley, but the MOTs are coming up more often for him now. A few miles on the clock. There he goes again with that strange ritual of playing games with the ropes.
Yes, he can be a bit erratic, Paul Wesley, as we saw against Omar Shika, when Shika just did not know what to make of him.
Yeah, big American prospect when he arrived, and Wesley just took the mickey out of him, didn't he? Obviously graduated from the Vincenzo Nardiello Academy. Wesley giving it a bit of a go in this opening round, though. McCreesh normally pretty tough, though he did lose a European title fight against Michele Piccarillo of Italy. He failed a drugs test after that and got fined £5,000 by the Board of Control, but he absolutely swears his innocence repeatedly about that, and I don't know, he feels that something dodgy went on over there, that maybe he was sabotaged in some way, and he certainly hasn't paid the fine as yet, and there are now 1 or 2 doubts about the laboratory and all that kind of thing. It's all very confusing, and you tend to believe McCreesh over this. He's a usually solid kind of character. ...20 wins in 25 fights for Geoff McCreesh, who is absolutely inspired. He became the night he became the British champion against Kevin Lushing. That happened just after his mother had been killed in a car crash. He was fighting in her memory, and his father, who'd recently been critically injured in the same crash, was at ringside, and it was an emotional night for him. Do you remember that?
Yes, it was. He really was fired up and wanted to win so badly that night. So you just wonder about the motivation in a fight like this. You know, how he'll be if he's just a little bit relaxed. Just noticing the ropes look very, very slack as Wesley was going back there.
Seconds out.
And here's his little rope-a-dope.
They are slack, aren't they, over there? Second round, Geoff McCreesh in the blue trunks. And Paul Wesley, who is on his second circuit, really, here as a professional boxer. Just depends what kind of mood you catch Wesley in. I remember him in a fight with Robert McCracken, who many people would say is our best British middleweight in world terms, and we thought he beat McCracken, didn't we, that night?
Yes, we did. He also had that sensational win over Neville Brown in one round, so you know, he can pull off a big upset when he's in the right mood.
Yeah, Neville Brown, the former British middleweight champion. It'd be a massive surprise, mind you, if he was to beat McCreesh here. McCreesh needs the fight. He's been out since July. Needs to get a few rounds in. Needs the pay dash, I think, too. In that last fight, he knocked out Michael Smythe in 7 rounds, and then we had a disgraceful riot among Smythe's Welsh fans.
It's just getting messy in there, not a lot of good work. McCreesh will want to try and look good in there, but it's difficult with somebody who's erratic and crafty like Wesley.
Wesley's coming at 48 hours notice here. He's giving it a go, all right. Good right cross there, though, from McCreesh. Looks like Wesley wants this one, doesn't it?
Well, decent punches going in there. He's giving it a bit of a go here, and McCreesh just having to tuck up and weather that little storm.
Bit of blood from the mouth of Wesley. Breathing a little heavily. There goes that crisscross defense of Wesley. He may revert to survival mode at any time, you feel, Paul Wesley.
Using that cross-arm guard that a few in the Nobby Nob stable use. It's when they're trying to keep out of trouble.
Nod of mutual appreciation between the two of them at the end of the round, like the old pros that they are. Nobby Nob's working with Paul Wesley in the corner.
Well, McCreesh just under a bit of pressure here. Wesley just trying to let the shots go. McCreesh just trying to fight back, but he had to get his gloves up and withstand a few decent shots from Wesley there. Wesley had his success as well. Just pushing McCreesh onto the ropes and McCreesh covering up.
Seconds out. Round
McCreesh
3.
landing more. Third round. 28-year-old Geoff McCreesh in those blue trunks here. Just looking to chalk up a win and see what Frank Warren can come up with for him by way of a possible world title challenge. It's unlikely to be the winner of Oscar De La Hoya and Ike Quarty, I'd say.
Yeah, you wouldn't think he's the first on the promoter's lips for the next step for the winner.
Never know your luck, though.
I don't know if that would be luck.
Would be for the bank manager, but I'm not sure for the doctor.
It's starting to warm up a little bit, this fight, but Wesley just going into the defences and allowing McCreesh to get some punches off.
McCreesh trying to bring those gloves down with the body shot and the play acting from Wesley. He loves all that. It won't bother McCreesh. He really is a no-nonsense, no-trimmings kind of operator.
Yes, he just tries to upset the opponent, just to take his eye off, wonder what he's going to do, and that stops the work rate. Where someone like McCreesh should just keep on working, just ignore it and just get down to your job.
Good little right cross from Wesley. 57th fight of Wesley's career, this one. The 26th for Geoff McCreesh.
Don't hold. Get out of there.
Wesley hasn't won in his last 11 contests. He was knocked out in 4 rounds by Lester Jacobs last time out in September. I said that McCreesh hadn't fought since July, but I forgot that he stopped Ross Hale in 4 rounds in October.
Stop. Stop.
Just a little warning for Wesley, holding and just spoiling the work inside.
McCreesh getting his gloves up well. That was a low blow there from Wesley. Really did seem to stray low.
Right. Heads up.
Not much getting through in that round. But basically McCreesh having a good workout so far.
Yes, well, he's in need of a bit of a workout, and I think that's what they've put him in this sort of fight for. Just to ease off a little bit, but still, you know, get the work he needs.
Motivation a problem?
I think obviously it is. He's been in some big fights recently, and it's always very difficult coming back down the ladder and trying to, you know, get your mind focused for something at this sort of level. So I'm sure that motivation is a bit of a problem for McCreesh.
But I think he's too solid a champion now, too solid an operator to let things slip with a silly defeat. 4th round. Geoff McCreesh, the man who has relinquished his British welterweight title because he believes he may have bigger fish to fry. Let's hope that's right for him. By his own admission, McCreesh was in a fair bit of trouble one way and another earlier on in his life, but seems to have sorted all that out now. He's never yet got into serious money.
He tried to turn Wesley, and now Wesley's off on a bit of a jog there.
Big smile flashing across Wesley's face. He's unlikely to be fazed by anybody put in front of him, really. Paul Wesley, you could put him on the same bill and on the same fight card as Oscar De La Hoya, and he wouldn't worry too much about it, I shouldn't think.
McCreesh getting the punches off, but Wesley's catching a few and taking a few, and still, you know, he can just come through that.
McCreesh coming in here 3¼ pounds above the normal welterweight championship limit, just carrying a little condition maybe, having much the best of it now, and I just wonder if Wesley has gone back into the mode of just getting through, really. Looks like that bit,
It
doesn't
does.
it?
He hasn't really tried anything that special in the last couple of rounds. He just seems content to just pick away and try and soak up some of the punches from McCreesh and get through this.
There's the body shot from McCreesh to try and bring those gloves down. Much better from Wesley. Nice, sharp, elusive work around the ropes and finding a right hand too. Just reminding McCreesh he's still around.
Well, he's just picking it up when he has to, Wesley. If McCreesh lands with a few punches, he just comes back with something just to let McCreesh know he's still there.
Well, I remember he was on the very verge of beating Glenn Catley, world title contender, recently in a fight they had. Do you remember that? And he really had him shaken up and all over the place.
Well, he can't perform when he wants to, but it's just getting him in the mood.
Nobby Nobbs working the corner for probably about the 50,000th time this year already.
Yes, he is one of the busiest managers and trainers around, isn't he? Barely ever go to a fight card without him being there.
I'll tell you what though, all the fighters in his gym can really look after themselves, can't they?
They can. He teaches them how to get through fights, and they all, you know, they can get in there and hold their own and put up good performances.
Yeah, they might lose a lot, but they carry on making money and they don't often get hurt.
Well, that's why the gym's called Losers Limited.
Seconds out. Round 5.
Fifth round then. Everything to McCreesh so far, Glenn?
Yes, I think so. Really, there's no real good work from Wesley. He hasn't really sustained any sort of attack, and it's you know, McCreesh is the one who's the busier.
Hitting the gloves really, Wesley, there. Impressive burst, but I don't think any of those really got through.
No, they were pretty much just arm punches. As you said, they looked more effective but didn't really do any damage. And now back to defense for Wesley.
McCreesh isn't known as a particularly heavy puncher, not a knockout artist, but the effect of his shots cumulatively tend to wear opponents down. It's a very good right hand there that sent the sweat spraying off the head of Wesley. Hard way to earn a living at 36 years of age.
Yes, it is.
But that is how old Evander Holyfield is. There's a thought. Can't wait for that one. Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield, March 13.
Well, this one's gone pretty quiet, with Wesley just getting through it, just knowing just that bag of tricks he has. And McCreesh just can't get a sustained attack or get a punch through that will hurt Wesley. That's what he needs. He needs to get him with a decent shot and then some sustained pressure.
Wesley, who's been a pro for 12 years now. It's a long journey. He must be coming towards the end of it now, you'd think. But there's always the temptation when the phone rings to just accept another job.
Well, it's something he's done and done quite well at a decent level for a lot of years. So it's, you know, whenever the phone does ring for work, that's always what he's going to think of first.
It was a difficult decision for a fighter to know when to call it a day. Hasn't got to that stage yet. He is losing habitually now, Wesley. There's a bit of damage on his right cheekbone. There's a good atmosphere between the two of them. Just a little laugh between the two of them and a little mutual pat of respect. It's almost like a gym workout, isn't it?
Wesley's that sort of character. He's a nice sort of character that's seen it all, and yeah, I think he's obviously lost his ambition, but he's an old pro. A nice little combination from Wesley. A few of them just getting through the guards, but nothing to any great effect.
As McCreesh got in with a right over the top, but look at that crisscross guard of Wesley. Archie Moore's defence used to be like that, the old mongoose.
Well, he lasted quite a while, didn't he? So
yeah,
it served him well.
Great Archie Moore, who
Corners 10
died
seconds.
quite recently.
Seconds out. Round 6.
Sixth round of this 8-rounder with Geoff McCreesh dominating round after round. They were talking to each other there and having a little
bit of a laugh there. I don't know who cracked the joke.
Yeah, he was probably saying, yeah, is this the last one or not? How many more have we got of this?
I don't think he cares, apart from when it comes to pay time.
Yeah. But no phony ballyhoo or histrionics. These two fellas know what it's about. I think McCreesh is good enough to maybe win a version of the world title. It's a tall order, isn't it, this late in his career? He's a good domestic operator, but not proven at any kind of level above that.
Yes, I think you're right, but I think he did show in the Lushin win that he can really dig deep, and he can be better than he actually looks. I mean, that was a good performance against Lushin, where he was very, very fired up. And obviously, there's if you got the opportunity for world title, that would be the incentive he really needed, because the money and everything that would go along with that.
Well, he isn't going to fight the winner of Oscar De La Hoya and Ike Quarty. I don't think we're going to see either of those two coming to Bracknell somehow to fight Geoff McCreesh. But there is a WBO champion by the name of Ahmed Katajev of Russia. And with Frank Warren's connections with the WBO, I suppose there's just the possibility that he might be able to work that one.
Well, I think a professional like McCreesh deserves an opportunity like that.
Yeah, I think so. Otherwise, he'll just have to put up with Felix Trinidad, won't he?
Be pleased with that.
Glamorous division.
Take it up. Step back. Step back.
Still that damage just under the right eye for Wesley.
McCreesh still unable to make a significant dent in the defences of Wesley. He's never really had Wesley in any sort of trouble.
It's just a mark time night this for Geoff McCreesh, and I could have sworn there he was waving his glove at somebody up there in the crowd, some people about 8 rows back.
Can you see up there?
Well, I can't, but he may know where they're sitting.
He's got a better spot, hasn't he?
Talk about relaxed. But it's that kind of fight, isn't it? They both, I think, have kind of accepted what the parameters of this one are, that McCreesh is there to get a workout, and that Wesley, he gave it a go early on, but he knows he's there really for the payday. He's doing his best, but they kind of know the score, don't they?
Yes, I think so. I think Wesley knows he's not going to get it. He hasn't maybe got the firepower or whatever to beat McCreesh, so he wants to make it He wants to make a fight of it.
There's punches landed. The blue line is McCreesh. He had a bit of a dip, as you can see, around the third round, then got back to it in the fourth and dropped off a bit. Wesley much lower throughout, really, and McCreesh dominant.
This Wesley pretty consistently low there.
It's a new little idea we have for you for showing how fights are progressing. People like a good graph, don't they? Yeah.
Nothing like a graph.
McCreesh in the blue trunks got through with a good right hand, getting a bit more serious again here as they get towards the finishing post, or somewhere towards it anyway, in round 7 of 8.
Well, Wesley's the type of fighter who, as I said, he knows what's expected of him. He'll make a fight, but he'll answer back when McCreesh raises the pace. But you would pretty much expect in the late stage of this fight he'll come out and have a little go when he senses the finishing line.
McCreesh, who's trained by Jim Evans, who has a punch bag, I seem to remember, hanging up in the back garden, which McCreesh sometimes thumps around in the warmer weather.
It certainly beats the spot of gardening, doesn't it?
Definitely. Next thing you're going to tell me everyone should have one in the back garden.
Of course they should. Well, it's quieting down. McCreesh just relying on that jab, just keeping careful.
Good body punches there from McCreesh. But he's covering out well as always, Wesley. It's hard to find gaps. You don't get through 56 fights and 12 years and battle against 6 world champions without learning a few survival instincts, and Wesley has those all right. Actually went the distance with Chris Pyatt and Steve Collins and Crisanto Hispania, the Venezuelan who was based in Belfast for a time.
And really, it shows, he's had all those fights, but also the level he's had them at. And
Good right hand there.
Staggered with that one.
From Wesley. And McCreesh, his legs just stiffened. That was Wesley's best punch of the contest. And that was a dodgy moment for McCreesh there. That was certainly not in the script. And that might lift Wesley. And the phony war just might be called off over the last 3 minutes. They've got their pride, and Wesley just might start to think, hello, I might be onto something here. But McCreesh is all right again now.
Well, he was certainly just stunned for a second by that punch, but just previous to that, he was having a wink at somebody at ringside. And I think that was just showing that he was very, very relaxed. And then he paid the penalty for being that relaxed, where he'd been caught with a decent shot from Paul Wesley. Just trading here, and there's that decent right hand, and then a left, and then another right on the chin. He just retreats there and then looks to hold.
It's fair to say he felt that one all right, wasn't it?
Oh, he definitely did.
Yeah,
I think he just paid the penalty for being a little too relaxed. Tried to trade with his defense open, and Wesley just clipped him on the chin.
It just goes to show, really, that Wesley, although he loses a lot, you cannot take liberties. There was a reminder for McCreesh, you'll know it. They touched gloves. These two with a good amount of respect for each other. Geoff McCreesh in the blue trunks, Paul Wesley of Birmingham in the black. It's what's known in the trade as a mark time fight for Geoff McCreesh, while he waits for big things to happen for him. He hopes there'll be big things anyway. It's bit of a gamble, really, in a way, isn't it, for him to give up that British welterweight crown, because that's a little earner in its own right.
Yes, it is. He has took the gamble. Obviously, he expects some better paydays and some better work. But you're right. It's a tough one to give up. But I think the incentive's gone when you've got the belt itself.
Again, McCreesh winking at somebody else he recognised at ringside.
I think that was Lucien.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh, right.
Good to see the boys are still friendly in there.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you, it's been a couple of notches up from a gym workout, hasn't it, this for the most part?
Yes, it has. They just really went through the motions. And a pretty quiet affair.
But it just does serve the purpose of letting McCreesh get a few rounds under his belt, having been out since October.
Tried for a chopping right hand there, but Wesley took it okay.
Wesley trying to lift it in the closing seconds again. Oh, good right hand there from McCreesh. Cracking shot. But it does look as if this is going all the way to a predictable points win for McCreesh. It will surely be that, unless something very dramatic happens in what little time we have remaining.
Well, there hasn't really been the big finish that I expected from Wesley. I thought he would have tried a little harder. Or maybe this is it now.
Good right hand from him in there again, though. Gloves go down. Result pretty much a formality. Geoff McCreesh has his points win, as expected. Everybody knew the score. Wesley had a few moments in there and got through to the final bell without too many alarms. And Geoff McCreesh waits and hopes for a world title chance of some description sometime in the next few months. Computer says he landed a lot more punches, but we knew that, I think.
Yes, I think we did. He was just busier throughout, just little short shots. Just kept himself busy and got the win he would have wanted without really going into digging down too deep.
I said that the first time.
You got electric fan, your house is smoking. You got electric fan, your house is smoking. You get that?
Ladies and gentlemen, after 8 rounds of boxing, the referee scores the contest for Paul Wesley, 73 points. For Geoff McCreesh, 80 points. The winner, Geoff McCreesh.
Who won every round except one that was scored even.
And your appreciation for a very game boxer indeed, Paul Wesley.